Also, please keep in mind that this is a very basic webinar. It's intended to show you how to get started using the new information search feature. For more in-depth information search questions, please feel free to join our accelerated information search webinar that is November 17th. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Robin, and she's going to get things started.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. And you're absolutely right. Today's webinar is going to be more of the basic nature. Now, one thing that I do want to start off saying is I don't know how many people we have that are joining us that have used the old information search. But if anybody has, and then you updated to your latest Avamark version, and by the way, we're going to train off of 2010.4 version on this particular webinar, you may have updated and then opened your information search and went, wow, oh my lands, it looks overwhelming. It really does. I'll be honest, the first time that I looked at it, it was absolutely the most foreign thing I'd ever seen in my life. The good news is that it's really easy. There are some really complicated things in it, but we're not going to hit any of those today. I just want to get everybody familiar with how to use some basic features and how great this new information search is. So Sarah, it's still located in the same area, right? I mean, nothing about that has changed.
That's right. It's still in the exact same location as you accessed it before, either by clicking on the speed bar button where your mouse is located, or by simply going to the Work With and then Information Search menu.
Yeah, so nothing about that has changed. But this window, the first window that opens up, those of you familiar with the old information search will remember it opened to an information search library window. Notice this says choose search criteria. It's the exact same thing. It's your library of saved searches. This is so beyond, though. It is using our new grid type windows, and you're going to notice in the program that a lot of our windows, such as inventory treatments and so on, are going to this new grid style. And when I say grid, I mean that you can click on any of these and you can sort, you can drag and drop in these windows, etc. Now, one thing that is new is that you can now categorize your information searches. That was not an option that we had in the past. So if I wanted to add a new category, it's easy as doing right-click New, typing in a category name such as, oh, what would be a good name here, Sarah?
Let's categorize financial. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, financial reporting. Did spell that right, right? Okay. All right, and so I've created a new category. If in any of my other categories I wanted to drag and drop something over, such as year-to-date needs to be categorized into this financial, I'm just holding my left mouse button down and dragging and dropping. It's a new feature in these new grid windows. Now another option would be this. Oh, by the way, don't forget to mention this classic searches here. When you update, Avamark will automatically install the classic searches in your program, and you'll have, I don't know, how many is there, Sarah, 25 or a little more?
Yeah, that's a little roughly 20, I'd say 25 to 30.
Yeah, information searches automatically, and what these are the most common information searches that we get asked for. Now, if you had any old information searches in your old one that you use, they will automatically be converted over to the new style of search criteria. But anyway, with that being said, all of it will be transferred over into this classic searches category. But what else we can do, and I think this is really a great option in these new grid windows, is I can right-click and go to View, and there is a Columns option. And those of you not familiar with customizing your columns, oh, these are absolutely great. For instance, if I click on Columns, I can pull out, let's say, the added date. I'm just going to drag it and drop it and let go of it in this area. And now I can see when these searches were added. Now here's another good option. And I especially like this because I need to see, I may look at this and go, okay, when do we run this? Cash payments per month, I don't know. I may be looking at some of them, not understanding exactly why they were created or maybe what our policy is on running them. So I could do this. For instance, on the weekly sympathy cards, if I right-click, there is a Notes option. You can type your notes in here, okay? And then I'm just going to click Done and right-click View. And there is a preview text option. This is within all the new grid windows once again. Click on Show Preview Text, our notes, and click OK. And now you can see your notes listed in the window. So I really like that, don't you, Sarah?
I do, because it gives you that view of exactly why you would need to run that search straight from this window.
Absolutely. Now, something else you'll notice is that you have a find function in here. That is something else that we didn't have in the past as well. So maybe I needed to see that year-to-date report, information search report that we've set up. Here we go. I just started typing it in. Now, you still have your options. You can come up here and you can go to File and print all of these out. But you kind of get the idea of the new window. Okay? Well, let's move on past this and talk about how to set up an information search and what we're looking at in this next window. So I'm going to click Cancel, meaning I'm canceling out of the search library window, the search criteria window, and opening a brand new search. Now here's where it may get a little overwhelming, but I promise we're going to try to make this as simple as we can, aren't we, Sarah?
That's right.
All right, the first thing that they'll notice in here is that there are 3 tabs across the top. You have a Search Criteria tab, a Report Criteria tab, and a Search Results. Now the first time I looked at this, as I said earlier, wow, it was just absolutely foreign to me. Here's what you need to know. Your search criteria is all of the things that you want to narrow down or filter, okay? Your report criteria is all of the things that you want physically printed, okay? And your search results are the results that you found after you've ran the information search. Does that make sense, Sarah?
Yes, it does. That's perfect.
Okay. Well, let's start talking about what we're looking for in here. I'm going to pull this new search window away just a little bit. And by the way, here's another great feature of this information search. This is a free-floating window. And does everybody know when I say free-floating what that means? I mean that you can actually work in other areas of the program with this window open, with an information search running. Do you remember if you ran a search in the past, you may notice it basically took up all your computer. You couldn't do anything else in Avamark, and the thing was so slow, you know, it just bogged it down. Well, one thing, this is extremely fast. The second thing, it's a free-floating window, so you can work in other areas of the program. Well, when we're searching for things in an information search, you can search for all of these different areas. When I'm looking, I can look for all these different things in the client area, all these different things in the patient area, medical history, their accounting, and so on. That's what I'm going to show you. Well, let's say, Sarah, that I just wanted a search that listed all of the clients in my database. I don't even want to filter it or narrow it down in any way, shape, or form. I just want a listing. Well, I bet I wouldn't even start on the Search Criteria tab, would I? I would just come over here to the Report Criteria. Remember, this is everything I need to physically see printed. And for instance, what if I type in, I want to see the name. Now, the new information search has an option for full name. Remember in the past, if anybody was familiar with it, you'd have to pull over last name, first name. Well, you no longer have to do that. So what we can do here is click on full name, hit the arrow to the right, or you can drag and drop that over. I prefer just to use the arrows. And guess what? That's it. With this being said, I'm going to get a listing of every single client in my database, just their names, because that's all I'm reporting. So if I click this button at the bottom that says Search, here we go. Well, that was really easy, wasn't it? Well, let's take that a little further, okay? What if I said, you know, I do need to filter it down. What would be something that we could filter here, Sarah?
Why don't we look for all active clients that have canines?
Perfect. I'm going to filter it down, meaning narrow it down, and find only my active clients that have canines. Now, what I'm considering active in the database are clients that do not have an I action code, meaning that I have inactivated them. So here's what we do. Right-click and go to New Condition. Right-click New Condition. in this window, these are all the different areas of the program that you can search for. If you're familiar with the old information search, the first 5 are the same as the tabs of the old information search. You can search for clients, accounting, patients, history, and patient reminders. Now these are all the different fields that I'm talking about that you can search within the client area and so on. But notice, oh look at this, Sarah, they have added so many more. I mean, just kind of slowly scrolling through here. Wow.
Possibilities are almost endless.
They really are, and I'm so glad you said that about the possibilities, because they really are almost endless. There is not too many things that we can't search for in your database. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. It's great for the clients that are really needing to pull that information.
Oh, you're right. Now, now they may be wondering what this is at the bottom. There's other areas. Now I've explained the top portion, but other areas may be confusing because it also has clients in here and it has appointments. Here's a good way of hopefully I'll explain this to where everybody can understand it. When it was explained to me, they said everything up here, all of these, can be linked directly back to a client, kind of like a tree. It has branches and everything comes right back to that client or to a particular client or patient as well. The other areas is something that is not linked directly to a specific client or a patient. For example, oh, well, what about searching for no-show appointments or appointments that have been marked as late, things like that. Does that make sense, Sarah?
It does, and in fact, I think we have a really good search that we can show them later to do that search to find how many, let's say, canceled appointments you've had in the past month.
Excellent, excellent. So for our instance, they probably forgot what we're even searching for by now. For our instance, what we're going to do is look for clients that are considered active. So I'm
muted. Unmuted.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to search for clients that in the client area, basically. Let me just click next. Okay, now if we go across the top here, it says search based on a particular client field or value. All we're going to talk about today is this option. We're not going to get into the advanced options. That's in the next information search in 2 weeks. Oh, and that's some really good information. We're going to click next, and here's all the different fields in the client area. Let me just scroll down here. Wow, that is a lot of different information that we can choose. But now, what was it again we're looking for, Sarah? Clients that are not considered?
Clients.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look for codes, meaning action codes on a client. Highlight it and click Next. Here we have our options of equals, meaning an exact, does not equal, meaning the opposite of that, begins with for a particular, maybe you want to do a search for letters names that begin with B or something. Does not begin with, the opposite. Contains, does not contain, a field that is completely blank, a field that is not blank, greater than, less than. There's a lot of options here, and we're going to talk some more about these. But the two I want to talk about for this particular moment would be the does not equal or the does not contain. Now, if I said does not equal I, what's going to happen, Sarah, if I have clients that have an A and an I action code? Because you know when I give an I, it overrides the A and marks them inactive. What would happen if I did this does not equal?
Well, what's going to happen is when you're saying does not equal I, it is literally looking for clients that only have an I action code. That's why it's better to use the does not contain option in this scenario. Because if they have any other action codes in their client field, action code field, you don't want them to not be placed on the report.
That is correct. So it's better to use the does not contain option, just in case they have more than one action code. And we're going to click Finish. Okay, so what you can see is client codes does not contain action code I. Well, the next thing we said was we want to also narrow it down to find only clients that have canines. So here we go. right-click, New Subcondition. This time we're searching in the patient area. Okay, so I'm going to choose patient. Next, search based on a particular patient field value. Okay, and I'm going to click Next. This time I'm going to type in species. Okay, take it just a moment here. Now you have an option. You could use your species code, meaning the code you listed in your system tables, or if I click the plus, I think this time we're actually going to use description.
And this is a really good example, Robin, of when you may want to call tech support. Because as you can see, there are a lot of different options here when it comes to pulling some species information. And if you're just you're not quite sure exactly which option you feel may be the best one, that's when it's always best just to go ahead and call tech support, let them know what search you're trying to pull, and say, I'm looking for a species, I've got all these options, please let me know which one is the absolute best option to use, and they're more than happy to do that.
That's very true. So we're going to choose our description and click Next. Okay, and I'm going to say equals because I want an exact amount or exact, what's the word I'm looking for? Species. We're going to type in K9. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. So now here's what I'm looking for. Client action codes that do not contain I, and species equal to K9. Okay, that wasn't that hard, was it? But what would happen if, let's say we're going through all this, and this could be because the first time I looked at this information search, as I said, oh, what if I'm going through this, Sarah, and people are going, you know what, wow. First off, she may be going a little fast, and she's just starting, and I'm feeling overwhelmed already.
Well, I've got good news. The great thing about this new information search feature is we actually have incorporated what's called a code editor. What that allows, and as you see there's Robin's going to View and Code Editor. What this allows you to do is to be able to call tech support and say, here's exactly what I need. This is what I need searched for. Here's what I need to actually print out. And tech support can actually set up the search for you and then send you this code. Then all you have to do is simply copy it and paste it, and it will literally fill out the whole search for you. So all you have to do is click search. It is really amazing.
I know. So as we're going through this, really what I want everybody to get out of it is just some basics. Don't worry about it if you're not understanding all of it, because really you don't need to. You can call tech support. We have, I'm not sure they know this, we have specific techs that are dedicated to just taking care of needs like this, such as information search. So they know it inside and out. Call them, tell them what you want, and guess what? In a matter of minutes, they're going to figure this information search out, email you over the code for it, show you how to plug it in, and you're done. Because let's face it, you all are very, very busy in all of your practices and don't have time to sit here and filter through all of the different options that are available. So that is definitely good news, Sarah. Okay, so we've filtered this down. We've got our codes, our species. I don't know, can you think of anything else I might need to narrow down, or is this good?
Let's add one more thing. Let's exclude deceased pets. Because we know how important that is to make sure, especially if we're going to be, calling the clients or sending them some kind of a letter, we want to make sure that we are excluding those deceased pets.
That is correct. So we're going to do a right-click New Condition. By the way, these options down here we're going to hit in our next information search. We're looking in the patient area. Next. Next. And we are going to look for action codes on a patient. So I'm going to type in codes. Here is our codes option. Next, I want to use the does not contain in case they have more than one action code on the pet. And I'll type in a D. Finish. All right. Now, I think everybody probably gets the idea of what the search criteria tab is for. It's how you narrow down and filter information. Well, the next thing we need to do is say, okay, what do we, out of all of this, what do we want to see printed? So here's what we'll do. We already have our full name that we pulled over from earlier, but what are some other things that we might want to do, Sarah? What do you think? Maybe the patient name?
Yeah, let's do the patient name. Maybe the client's phone number would be nice.
Oh, yeah. Let me type in that full number, full phone. Just hit my arrow and pull it over. Okay. And what else?
Patient
Oh, the
name.
patient name. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Take it just a moment here. Here's the patient name, and we'll pull that over. There we go. At this point, we're done. We can click search. And here, look how quick that was. Now, we are using a small sample database, but they're going to notice, aren't they, Sarah, some really significant speed enhancements on their end as well.
That's right. And that just saves so much time as well, not having to sit and wait on a search to run. Even though it is that free floating window where you can, work in other areas of the program, it still is very convenient that it has increased in speed.
Mm-hmm. Now, what else could we do on here? I'm looking at this, and I don't know, things are kind of out of order. And
yeah, it's a little hard to read, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why don't we show them how to do it in alphabetical order?
Excellent idea. We'll go back to our report criteria, and if I double-click on one of these, for instance, full name, there is an option for sort order, and next to it, I can click ascending and descending. Anybody familiar with our old information search? This probably looks pretty familiar. So if I click ascending, it's going to sort from A to Z, descending from Z to A. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK, search again, and now it's in alphabetical order. That is so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now at this point, we have several other options. If you want to, you can double click on these and it'll take you directly to that client and patient. So that's a great option. Here's something else that we can do. What if we want to go up to results and we want to email it? Okay, at this point, I would type my message text in, my attached file. Now, of course, this is provided you have all of your emails set up and working with Avamark. Another option is to export it. So if I click on results and export, you can export this information, and it creates a CSV file, a comma separated value file that can be opened in Excel and manipulated in there. Now there is a really, in the past if you ran this, it would export it out into your Avamark folder, but now Sarah, there's a little bit different option in here now, isn't there?
There is. Like you just stated, in the past, anytime that you wanted to export the search, it would automatically send it into your Avamark folder, which is fine, especially if you're okay with that. But a great new option is that you can tell Avamark where you want the file to go. So for example, if you want it to be placed on your desktop, you can specify that you want it placed exactly onto your desktop. That way it just makes it a little bit easier for you to find that file. And really all you have to do is, Robin, if you click the little ellipsis there where your mouse is, and all you're doing is telling Avamark where to place that file. So if you click on desktop there and then click save, now you can see the path is showing that it's going to save that file straight onto this computer's desktop.
That's right. And we could also rename it. It doesn't have to be left to the name merge. You have your old options as far as your formats. Excuse me, you can format it consolidated. If you've ever talked with us in technical support, we're going to say choose your custom option. Custom is allowing you to have the fields that you have set up on your own. And you just click export. I'm going to cancel for this moment. Okay. And your last option in here is print. Now this is the same as before. You can come in here, and if we want to print the report out, I can click on print or preview. I'm just going to click on preview. Here's our listing. If I wanted to merge to a document, here I can choose my document, how I'm going to sort it. Here's your postcards, where you would set up your postcard text using your Avamark merge words. Okay. Then you also have your options as before of printing your mailing labels. So see, all the same functionality of the old information search is still in here. Let's go ahead and just click done. Now, of course, you can save the search. If I go up to File and Save, I can save this in my criteria library window so that I can use it in the future. So I'm going to choose this category called, just going to put it in webinar. I need to give it a code, so I'll call it, I don't know, active. Give it a name of active client, whoops, can't spell, active client search, and click OK. Now if I want to go back and find this in the future, I can go to File, choose Criteria, and it's going to be in my library, right? See how easy that is? I'm going to cancel out of this one. Okay, now let's go to File and New Criteria and get a blank brand new window. I know we've covered a lot so far, and hopefully it hasn't been too overwhelming. Remember, search criteria, narrowing your information specs down, report criteria, what you want to see printed, and the search results is what it has found. But let's do some more, Sarah. What else do we have we can set up for them?
Let's do another kind of basic search before we talk about a couple of those other options, just to kind of get it back into everybody's head exactly what this new information search is doing for them. Let's just do a search for new clients that's been added this year.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So we are wanting to narrow some information down. So we want to be on the Search Criteria tab. Right-click New Condition. And we are searching in the client area because we want to look for the client's added date. So let's choose Client. Next. Search based on a particular field. Next. And now let's find that field. So we're going to choose, I could type in added, but it's actually right here. Here's our added date. Next. And this time, we're going to scroll down a little and talk about some more of these options. For this instance, I'm going to say is greater than. And when you're saying is greater than, you're saying something is more than what you're looking at as of today, for instance. So I'll type in my date, and what was that? 01/01/2010. Oh, look at this. Date calculation. This is a great new option. Unfortunately, I'm not going to cover it today, but we will cover it in our next information search, right, Sarah?
That's exactly right.
All right. Let's go ahead and click Finish. And so I've said, look for clients that have been added this year. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. So now we need to go over to what we want to report. Let's pull over the full name. Do we need to see anything else?
No, I think that's good.
All right. Click on Search. How easy was that? Now, keep in mind, this is a sample database that we keep small just for training purposes. So many people don't think that we've only had this many clients this year. All right. Well, that was really, really easy. If I wanted to save it, I would click the Save button here. Oh, by the way, or the Save icon. If you click Save at the bottom, it does save it, but it saves it and closes you out. Okay, so I can just click the Save, give it a name, okay, just like before. Continue, no, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to cancel out of all of this. Here changes, no. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've done a couple of really simple searches. What else can we do here? Let's open this back up.
And actually, Robin, I think you have a search that's saved that I would like to show everyone and just kind of go through how come it's set up the way it is. Let's look and see if you have a top client search.
Okay, so from this window, to get back to my library, I would simply do a right click, go to File, and go to Choose Criteria. All right, and I'm going to click on my webinar category that I've created. And is this the one you're wanting to look at, the top clients?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm going to double click on it, and here we go. Now this is one that has been created already, but let's talk about what this one's looking for. This is an excellent one here, looking for, maybe you only want to send your top clients Christmas cards or special promotions or something of that nature. This one, they have looked in the client area for fiscal sales greater than 100. Now, we have options if you look in here for fiscal sales, fiscal visits, what's the other one, Sarah? Fiscal payments.
Fiscal payments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I answered my own question, didn't I? All right. Now, fiscal, let's tell them what we're talking about when we say fiscal versus year-to-date.
Fiscal is actually going to look back 12 months from today's date and calculate the total amount of sales for that client. So what we're actually looking at is to search for clients that have had greater than $100 spent in the past 12 months. Now, something that's really great also about this new information search feature is if you look here where it says client fiscal sales is greater than 100, let's say that, you know what, we ran this search and 100 wasn't enough. It brought up too many clients. We need to narrow that down a little bit more. As you can see here, Robin simply clicked on that 100 and it allows you to clear that out and type in the new criteria that you're needing to search for. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to modify a search that's already been saved.
That is correct. And you could do the same here as well. You could click in this area if you needed to change any of these. Now, if you needed to completely remove something, you would highlight it and click the X at the top to completely remove that from your search. But we can see what we're narrowing down, what we're filtering here. So let's go to our report criteria and see what's been listed here. We've simply pulled over the account number, the first name and the last name. Now, we could have kept it at full name. That would have been easier. Fiscal sales, and let me double click on this one. They have done a sort order of descending, and they've clicked on sum. I'm going to go ahead and click on search. Here's our options. You can see all of our fiscal sales, okay, in our order that we chose to sort. I'm going to click on print, and for our instance, we're going to preview. And here's your sum at the bottom. See, that summed all of these up. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and close out of here. All right, now the next thing that we want to consider is, what do you think, Sarah? What one do we want to do next?
Let's do amount spent per species. This is a really good one to show them how it groups certain things together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. File, choose criteria, and we already have one of these in here. And here it is, dollar amount spent per species. I'm going to double click. And now they would have these in their search library too if they'd called technical support and used the code editor, right?
That's exactly right. If this is a search that you're wanting, absolutely call tech support. We'll set it up for you, and all you have to do is import the code.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Search Criteria tab, and here's what we've narrowed down. Patient codes does not contain D, I, or M. Okay, so deceased, are inactive, or are moved. And they've done something a little bit different in here. What they've done is they've said, let's look for a history date that's greater than 0101 of 97. So they're just making sure they have something, some dollar amount in their medical history. Okay, I could once again come in here and change this date if I needed to. Let's go and look at our report criteria. They've pulled over species code. We could have pulled over the species description as well. And an amount. If I double click on amount, you can see they've clicked on sum. And by the way, sum, if you're wondering the difference between sum and count, sum is if you have a dollar amount that you need it to add up for you. Count is if you have something physically that you're needing to count, like how many clients or how many patients or how many times something has been performed. Count distinct is an excellent new option that we're going to cover in our next information search class. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. Do you see where it says subtotals and summary here, Sarah? I'm going to take them in here and show them this option. So let's click on setup. And there's an option for summarize. I love these options. You have the top for subtotal. Now, when you think of subtotaling is simply grouping things together, grouping like things together. Summarize is saying, I just want to see a sum of the total, basically, just a figure amount. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click Summarize by Sort Order, and my sort order was, you see right here, was my species code. I chose ascending. We're going to click OK, and we're going to click Search. Now here's what you can see. Here is our different species. Okay. Let me scroll down a little here. Here's all of our different species and the dollar amounts per each of these species. Easy enough? Now, what do you suppose would have happened if I wouldn't have done that summary? Let's click on our setup. And what do you think, Sarah? Should we show them how if they don't do any of that?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and just click on subtotal, excuse me, and go ahead and click OK, and show them how it looks whenever you print it without doing the summary.
See what it did? You've got all your canines, so every single time it's listed out. Oh, my lands.
I mean, it's still giving you that information that you've searched for. It's just a lot harder to read on the printout. That's why it's really important if you're just wanting that final dollar amount or that final information, do a summary and it's just going to print the end result.
Absolutely. Love that option. Okay. Well, do you think we should continue and show them some more?
Absolutely. There is a great search that you have saved that I'd love to show them just because I think it's a fantastic search to run, and it is for busiest day of the week.
Okay. Let's double click on that one and go to our search criteria. Now, in this one, they have looked in accounting, okay, and they've done something called day of week. And they have placed in your different days of the week, 1 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday, 3 for Wednesday, and so on. They have also looked for an amount that is greater than a penny, an account type, and you may be saying, okay, I don't know what my accounting types are. S&T that we've chosen here are taxable and non-taxable transactions. If you need a listing of the different accounting types, you can, tech support can give it to you, but a search like this, I'd probably just let them set it up for me. Wouldn't you, Sarah?
Yeah, probably so.
Okay. And here's our account date. If I come over here and click my report criteria, they have pulled over, or we have pulled over day of the week and sorted it ascending. Okay. And we have also done an amount. So let's go ahead and just click on search and see how we've grouped all of these together. Okay. I really like this one a lot too.
I do too, because you can see, you can really base off of this, what days, if you're considering being closed half a day, one day of the week, this may better help you decide which day that you may be bringing in less money and decide that may be the day that you feel comfortable with closing half a day.
That's right. And do keep in mind this is just some sample data that we're using. Okay. Well, I think we may have some more to show them as well.
Absolutely. I believe we have, let's show them that appointment search I talked about earlier whenever we were talking about how you can search for other areas of the program, and one of those was appointments. And let's show them how this one works.
Absolutely. This one we're looking for canceled appointments, and we've looked in the appointment area, but now I haven't been going in here and doing the right-click new condition because I figure we all have that down by now. But look at this one. We didn't do, you can see here it says appointment status equals canceled. They didn't go into the main window for this. They went in here and chose other areas. Remember, other areas are areas of the program that cannot directly be linked back to a specific patient or a specific client, because these have essentially been removed, right? You've had them in your appointment calendar and they've been removed, meaning they've been marked as canceled, late, no-show, etc. All right, and then they've just chose appointment date in the appointment area as well. If at this point, let's say I wanted to look for canceled and maybe no-show as well, I could just comma, no-show, comma, late, something like that. Report criteria. If I come over here, we've pulled over full name. We want to see the patient name. We want to see the date. We want to see the date that appointment was originally made. If I click on search, okay, we have one right here. This is just, once again, sample data. That's pretty easy. And I know that's something that we needed to be able to see in the past was, things like that, things that had been marked as late, no-show, and we didn't have a real good way of finding it. So that's another great one.
It is, and I think you have another search, Robin, that I'd like to show them simply because of the option that's available that most clinics need to be using when they're running this type of search, and it's a breed search.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, the breed search. What we're looking for in here is a specific breed, and this one they're looking for the patient breed, and they've said contains Beagle. Now, you can use that if you want to. However, I prefer doing it this way. I'm going to right-click and do a new subcondition, and I'm going to go to patient because I'm looking in the patient area for a breed, and next. Search based off of a particular field, yes, and let's find that field. If I start to type in breed, and there's a lot to choose from, I'm going to click on this option here, the plus, and open the tree. I'm going to choose type, breed type. And we're going to choose a specific breed type, and I'm going to put in a Z, and I'll explain what this is here in just a moment, and click Finish. In our data, if I come over here and go to Work With, and then go down to my System Tables, Work With System Tables. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but your breed table, there is an option. If I double click on here, I'm going to get a message about not changing. We're going to click OK. There is a type. What this allows you to do is type everything together. In other words, group things together that are like. So if I had all my different, beagles or small animals or large animal breeds or so and on and on. Now, I hope nobody's database is like this, but it may be. Does anybody have the problem where you have your breed in, you don't just have it in as Beagle, you have in your Beagle mixes and all of these others, or, they're, oh gosh, Sarah, the possibilities are just endless for how they may have all these in there.
That's right.
You could group these together as well. Whereas if we just typed in before and did Beagle, it's only going to pick that one Beagle up, providing every single patient has it as Beagle in there. So if I do this, my breed type, and I'm just going to make my Avomark a little smaller and pull this down so I can get back to my information search window. Okay, we can use the breed type equals the Z that we chose. And here's another good option. In here, I can remove this top entry because I don't really want to use it by clicking on this X, or I can just uncheck this box, meaning I can just disable it. I actually use the information search quite a bit here in the office because I need to, narrow down specific clients that I want to, in a specific area. Maybe I'm just letting everybody in California know that we're about to have a webinar over information search, or we're about to come to your area. So I come in here and use this a lot on a daily basis as well. And I'll set up one search, and then just for the areas that I'm doing, I'll check or uncheck. So easy enough. Report criteria, we have pulled over our account number, our first name, our last name. Look at all this information we've pulled over, phone number and breed and all sorts of things. We have the ascending. If I click on last name, we've sorted it ascending. If I click on the sex, we've sorted it secondly by the sex of the patient. Species is the third way that we have sorted it. Okay, so we have all these different options in here. And if I click on search, okay, here we go. Well, that's pretty easy. That's a really good search as well. Now, here's something that I did want to tell them about. And I didn't go over it earlier because I thought, oh, I don't know if we'll have enough time. But when I was in this window earlier, I had mentioned, subtotaling things and summarizing and the difference between them. Let me give you a good example. Well, I don't know if it's a super good example, but it is an example of this. Let's go back out of here. And we had that original, was this the first one we set up, the active client search? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is that list of active clients with canines.
Oh, yes, here it is. All right. If I come down here and click on this setup, now I think we know what summarize is. We want just a sum amount of something. But I could actually click on subtotal and subtotal this by full name. And it's only going to give me the options of what I have sorted, by the way. This is getting a little advanced, kind of getting into what we're doing next time, but I'll give them just a little taste of this. Okay, so if I click on search, and then I come up here and click on results and just print, you can see what it did. It grouped all of these clients together with their patients. So your subtotal is just grouping things together. Does that make sense, Sarah?
It does, and that's exactly right. You know, if you want things grouped together, you know, so you can see all of the same in one spot, that's the option you're going to want to use.
That is correct. All right. Well, what we've done so far is we went over, you know, quite a few different searches. I didn't want to get into anything that was too terribly hard, too terribly specific. What I mostly wanted to do was introduce the new information search. If you have in your head how to use the old information search, I don't know. I think I would just try to completely, if you can erase it out of your head, that would be great, because this is something completely different. The functionality is still there and then some, but using it is completely different than the old way of using it. I think that's just easier to think of it that way. And you're just going to, you know, learn something new, learn the basics, learn that the search criteria tab, you're narrowing information down. Your report criteria is what you're reporting, and your search results is what you have found. You can save these, and most important of all, you can call tech support. Specific text to help you out with those information searches, and we have this view up here at the top, the code editor. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. This is all the information. They will pull this information out, copy it into an email, send it to you, and walk you through it. And there is no more sitting on the phone with tech support for ages setting a search up. Snap your fingers and it's done. This is just wonderful. Our programmers went above and beyond with that code editor, let me tell you.
That's very true. It's an amazing feature. I'm so pleased with that for everyone, because like you said, it's going to save everyone time in the end.
It really is. And this information search can be used for a multitude of things. I mean, we can search for, as I said earlier, almost anything in your database. Our next webinar, we're going to start showing you things like how to start using your information search to pull more financial information, how to use it as a, find your good, valid data. For instance, we all know if we don't have good, valid data in your system, it's just going to play havoc with everything, with your reports and with your rebuilds. And we'll show you how to find things such as, well, here's a simple example. What about clients that don't have email addresses or valid email addresses? You know, what if somebody just typed in like NA, not applicable on the email area? What if we need to find all the patients that don't have reminders on them? All patients should have some kind of reminder on them. You know, things like that. We're going to show them how to do that. What else are we going to show them, Sarah?
A lot more of those options as far as, you know, the subtotaling and summary, those different count options, you know, date calculation that we were talking about earlier, and how to search in some of those different areas of the program. So we have a lot that we're going to try and cover in that accelerated information search webinar. I'm excited about it.
I am too. We're really going to get into some good detailed information. You can run a search inside of a search now. I'm going to teach them how to, you know, omit things and use these options here. If I right click the exists and does not exist in, we're really going to get into some more involved areas. So for those of you that think to yourself, oh, there is no way I want to learn all that, that information search probably isn't for you. However, for those of you that love new features of the program and learning how they all work, oh, absolutely, we would love for you to join us. And you can go to our website at avamark.net, click on training, and there's webinars, and you can find the webinar and register for it. So I think we have some time for some questions. Sarah, what do you think?
I think that
questions.
You're right.
What do we have here? Let's
see.
see.